Hey, everyone, Friday Live podcast. I'm your host, Amy Kading, Technical Product Manager and Marketing Services Director here at Healthy. And we're going live every Friday to discuss growing the business of health and wellness. Last week, we talked about some easy shortcuts to program success, and we're wrapping up our program series this week with answers to your questions and a pretty cool program report card. Special guest this week is Tracey Stroud. Welcome back, Tracey. Long time no talk.
Hello. I know. I feel like I talk to you more than I talk to my own family. It's all good. We're heading into the weekend. We're excited.
We are. Nice long weekend. Summer's here. School's out, so you may see my kid pop in. You may hear her scream. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen in summertime.
Yeah. I literally am like, would you stop interrupting me? Like all day long. I'm like, where's your dad? I think I say, where's your dad about 20 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday she came in and I didn't hear her because noise canceling headphones, and she was just standing right here, and my heart jumped through my terrifying. It was like The Exorcist. But I love her. She's cute.
Yeah, she's very cute.
All right. So for those tuning in for the first time, we've been talking about programs all month long. We started talking about them back in April. Feel free to go back and listen. All sorts of tips, tricks, ways to make them successful. Tracey and Courtney have been giving us lots of amazing information. So excited to wrap it up, Tracey, today, and tell people how they can grade themselves and answer questions, all that good stuff.
Well, we came up with a little report card, and don't go down into that little box. You just stay right next to me here because I'll bring you back up. So we're going to talk about how well the program went for people. And it's really good to do a little assessment after you do anything. We call that market feedback. Was what you offered what the public wanted? Was what you offered easy for them to participate in? Easy for your schedule as a practitioner? So sometimes we do things and then it becomes such a burden and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't get through this. So we sat down with Courtney and just went through really high level, logistics of how well did I do? And then how can I improve? And we just called that the program report card. And I think we have a little graphic right there. So so these are just metrics and questions for you as the practitioner or the program person that you can fill out. And actually this is going to be available for download after this broadcast. The scoring key is pretty simple, to keep it simple, not do core math here. But 1 for yes, right? You get 1 point if you said yes. And if you say no, you get 0 points. So I think it was pretty easy to follow. And this is something that I think we can just walk through today and talk about what are these items of yes and no. And then if people are watching and they want to follow along, they can see how healthy their program was.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat, and then I'll flash the QR code up as we go. That way, if you're interested in accessing it, there you go. So let's start with some of these questions. Oh, no, I can't see the top of it because of that live icon.
It says, did you have more than 25 people in your group? So obviously, the very first thing that you're going to grade yourself on is how many people showed up, right? So it's almost like going to a lecture or having a birthday party as a kid and nobody comes. Yep. So if you don't have an audience to engage, there's really no one that you can teach, nor is there anyone benefiting from your knowledge. So the very first thing is how many people did you get to your group? And that really is actually a result of advertising. How well did you do at promoting it? How interesting were your promotions? What was the content you used? How often did you promote it, right? And we gave some tips and tricks in the last couple of whether you did the program with us or you do your own programs, which is great. All of these series of program running and success can be used for anybody. So really question number 1 was a product of how well did you advertise?
Sure.
So this second one, go ahead. Did you want to say something?
No, go ahead. You go.
Okay. So these are kind of e-com metrics. I always tell people, and this was something that we learned from Chelsea. She always told me, every time somebody clicks on your site from the landing page to going to find the product, whatever that looks like, you lose 20% of the people that were going to purchase from you. So what we tried to do was create one landing page where people could land and buy the product. So if you had 25% of people in your group, how many people bought that product? So let's say you had a group of 100, right? and 20 or 5% of the people bought the product. Now, at the bundle price, that might not seem like a lot of people, but what happens is once they buy it once and they start to have an experience, they themselves become an advertisement for you. So they can get on the group and say, hey, these products taste so good. I'm really enjoying this. I feel so much better. That's going to actually promote more purchasing. And we're looking at about an average of 5% of the people that were in your group being purchasers, which, the more people you have in the group, the more chance you have to sell. So if you have 100 people in your group, obviously that's going to be 5 people. You have 200, it's going to be 10 people. Now, conversion rates are usually a little bit higher if you have a good engaged customer base, people that have bought from you before. But we gave you 5%. So I think we were very fair on that.
I was going to say, actually, you'd be surprised some of the sites that are lower than that. That depends on your traffic and the quality. So actually say 5%.
Yeah.
To me, coming from like some big e-commerce stores, 5% sounds great.
Really? All right. Well, cool. So if you got 5 people in your group to buy something, you're doing great. All right. So let's see what the next question
And
is.
also remember, like for your next program, those people are likely to come back. So then getting new people on top of that, that number is just going to grow the more you do. So let's say you got 5% on your first one. That's a really solid baseline because your chances of going up from there are really high because you're not starting from scratch each time.
Yeah. It's like 70%, right? The people will buy from you again. So, so these are cool too. The third and fourth question, were there any new members in your group and were there any repeat members? Guys, repeat members are my favorite because they're the people that know, like, and trust you already. You don't even have to like get to know them.
Right.
There's no first dates in this group with them. Like you've been out on a couple of dates. They keep coming back, so I love repeat members. Plus, they're your biggest fans. They'll get in there and help other people. They actually can become like moderators of your group if they've done a few groups with you. And I actually had some people in my groups that I gave them moderator assignments where I was like, hey, if people get stuck or don't know where to find something, can you help me watch this group? And I give them some free products or a session, so I love repeats. And sometimes, we think that people aren't learning if they're constantly coming back, but actually they're accelerating their learning because they're coming back. So repeat members are my favorite. New members, obviously I love to meet new people and figure out like, how did they find me? What was so interesting about the group? So again, I'm going to use them more for market feedback. Really encourage them to go through all of the program. Some of my repeat members are using systems from other groups that I had maybe done a detox group or a cleanse group or the maintain, don't gain, and they have shake systems, and they'll ask me like, can I use this shake system instead of what you're doing? And I know the people, I'm like, yeah, that'll be fine, but maybe add this one product, right? So repeat members and new members, I like to have at least 25% repeat members come in. For me, I want, if I had 200 people or 100 people in my last group, I want at least a quarter of them come into my next group, because nobody just is like, hey, thanks for the group, I feel great. That's not really what happens. And if I'm, good at what I do, I'm going to go from maintain, don't gain in December to January, cleanse and detox. Right. And then we hit this long haul issue because now these two group people are educated. They might have friends and family that have this issue. They themselves might have that issue. So I was kind of like walking this in succession. And so I want those people to come back to my group. I want new members, but your group should be made up of probably 25% of those repeaters, maybe even more. And then, trying to get more new people to come and, find out who you are and what you do. And this program I felt was a good one for new people because there's not a lot of long hauler groups out there that are giving a full subset solution and why it works and a succession of things to add to that base protocol. Like the long haul groups that I've seen are like, I have this and I have this. Well, I've tried that and this worked for me and this was great over here. It was like a lot of confusion where what we did in this group was pulled a foundational protocol together. And then we added the one-off strategies and complementary modalities to it so that a person walking out in 30 days had a program and could implement it for the next 2-3 months to enhance their recovery. So that's kind of what I liked about what we did.
Right.
Next question.
When I think about like repeat customers and programs and groups, though, I mean, we all rely heavily on reviews, especially on places like Amazon. But like when someone's in a group, I think that's like engaging
They
with a
tell you how
5-star
they
reviewer.
feel.
Of course, I'm going to see that and trust that person. So,
Mhm.
you have 25%.
And then sometimes you get those people you don't want to come back, and I've had a few of those. So,
Yes, I'm sure.
not mentioning any names.
You can't please everybody.
No, not everybody's your fan.
Yeah.
And that's what I figured out. 25% for me. So, so if you look at those first four questions, if you hit those numbers, it doesn't have to be 25%, but if you had repeat members of any percentage or new members, you give yourself a point. If at least 5% of your entire population bought the protocol that we put in the program, you give yourself a point. And if you had 25 members or more in your group, you give yourself a point. And the reason that I'm explaining like kind of the caveat of what would equate these questions is because this is going to help you know where you need help. So if you didn't get enough people in your group, you might need marketing help. If people didn't buy your products, you might need, more encouragement to your participants about why the products are valid. If you didn't get new members, you might need some paid advertising for new reach. If you didn't get repeat members, you might want to take a look at what you did in your last group and say, well, was it good? Why didn't they come back?
Right.
Or you might have done such a great job that they're completely healthy and they don't need you. That's where I would, ask people, hey, I did a new group. I didn't see you in it. What happened? So just know that that's why we're grading. We're not trying to say you did a bad or good job. This is more for you as a practitioner to continue to grow your digital fingerprint as a specialist on, basically the web, social media, all the places. So, all right, back to the card. Sorry.
Okay. Excellent caveat.
So, did you get positive feedback from your group? That's always good. If you're seeing more negative comments in your group, what are they about? What were people saying that was negative about it? If you're getting positive feedback, that's great. What was it? What do people really like? You need to use this as market research. Like, in my last group, people just liked the fact that it was easy. They got a shake, they drank it. There was a calendar, they followed it. They had this lifestyle calendar. Like, they loved the convenience of everything being in one place. They liked the taste of the product. That was a big thing. And then I had some people message me and they were like, oh my gosh, like I got this flavor and it was terrible. And I'd be like, yeah, that flavor stinks. Don't get that flavor. And they're like, why didn't you tell us that? I'm like, that's a good point. I probably should have said, I prefer this flavor rather than letting someone waste their money, and getting a flavor that wasn't good because they knew it wasn't tasty. Right. And then, the other positive feedback was just the community part of it. They loved that they could post pictures. Like I had one friend of mine who's a naturopathic doctor. She's like, I always call her like Mama Michelle's home cooking, but it's all like 100% organic, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, like so safe across the board. She posted pictures every day and recipes, and people just loved that. I told her, I was like, man, you should put that all in a document and put it in the files. Like you should do something with it. Like, it's just, that was the great part of it. So that was positive feedback. So from that, I learned that I need to be more expressive on what I think tastes good and what doesn't, and where I would spend my money. And then two, the support, the network of support of bringing my friends in. And I had other practitioners say, can I send my clients to your group? And I was like, well, yeah, but I was like, let me make you a code for my store. That way I can give you a percentage of whatever sells, like I wanted to honor them, and I was like, you can get your own store. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that right now, but I'll just send them to your group. And okay. So networking was a really good positive feedback from my group. So those are things that I learned.
Well, I think it shows that if you're like actually taking people's feedback, then you're putting that like I'm actually listening to you message, which it's like hard to have a direct line to your end user anyways. And so now that you have that, and if you listen to them, a great way to get people to come back more because they know that you're going to be honest and open to what people have to say. And it's not just like your way or the highway, which nobody really likes to be told that.
Well, that's actually something I didn't think about was that direct line to your consumers. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't get that feedback, or if they do, they don't take it, or it's on a public forum and
it's buried in a
So I did appreciate getting feedback from people, and I would ask questions. You got to ask questions if you want feedback, right? How many people bought the product? How many people like the taste of it? Hey guys, any recipes you're doing with your shakes, right? And people like went crazy on that stuff. They loved it. People would be like, I got this flavor. It was so good. Oh yeah, I put this in here and it's delicious. And then somebody else would be like, hey, add lemon to that. It makes it even better. Oh, that's such a good idea. Like it was just like this whole thing. But you got to ask questions. You actually got to talk to them. So I think that's on the report card too.
All right.
Yeah. So did your participants
learn new life?
Yeah. No, go ahead. You read. I can answer.
No,
Well, the lifestyle skills, what are they, right? These are habits of health. That's something that we did provide in this. You know, we talked about complementary modalities. We talked about the foundations: nutrition, hydration, movement, sleep, elimination, emotional, spiritual wellness, all in the program guide. So people could look and basically assess: am I eating whole food? Am I drinking enough water? You know, am I going to have a bowel movement every day? Am I exercising or moving my body or moving my lymph? Like, what am I doing to change my lifestyle, not just the products? And then the next question was like, how are the products, right? And,
Right.
you know, me personally putting these programs together for Get Healthy, I try to choose multiple brands, some that I know, some that I don't, but also multiple delivery systems. You know, to have a successful bundle, people actually have to want to take it. And I think what we
Right.
put together were powders that they could mix conveniently in a shaker cup, you know, just take it in their car on the road, off to work. And then they had maybe a couple of capsules that they took. So compliancy wise, it tasted really good. People enjoyed it and it wasn't overwhelming. And I think that was a big benefit. And that should be something that you think about. You know, how do you not only support somebody's lifestyle in your programs, but also how do you make it the most compliant? You know, with the
Right.
lifestyle calendar we did in Maintain, Don't Gain, I think it was one of the programs, but it's a calendar that I give my clients. And it basically, over 3 weeks, because it takes 3 weeks to change a habit, builds them. And we talk about nutrition, right? So in that particular one, we did 1 shake a day. And then I think we went to 2 shakes a day. And then we like cut sugar on the 3rd week. And the second one was hydration. We went from, you know, drinking, you know, 4 glasses of water a day to drinking 6 glasses and making sure they had a great filter. So we like upped the game. You know, with movement, it was 5,000 steps a day the first week, 7,500 the second week, 10,000 the 3rd week. So it was like this whole lifestyle thing. And people really enjoyed that because they would come in and I would ask, like, did you hit your 10,000 step goal today? And all these people would be like, 12,000. I'm like, show me a picture. And they would like post pictures of their little health app in the group, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. And then the products, you know, has to taste good. They have to work. You know, they have to actually make people feel better. And so when I would ask the question, how many people bought the products? And I had like a bunch of people say, the next question I would ask is, how many people are enjoying the products? Like, what are you feeling? How do they taste? You know, I don't want to use a product that nobody likes, you know, next time. So if they say, hey, this tastes like crap, I'm probably not going to use that company again. I think we got okay feedback.
Yeah, I think so.
Next question.
Okay, so you get a point for basically any kind of feedback, and then if new lifestyle skills are acquired, and if they express that they love the supplements, that they love the information and resources you provided. Now let's talk about resources.
Yeah, so all of those resources here, we for your people in the group, they had a guidebook. You know, there was the files, the calendar if they wanted, you know, plus the supplements. Those are resources, guys, that you are giving them. All really important, so that they don't have to go search for something. And then your education, your brain, your daily posting, and that's where we provided the content and the infographics and all the education with those infographics. All of those are resources for people. You know, it's nuggets of learning, you know, knowledge nuggets, as you can call them. And then all the questions after that were exactly what I was talking about. Like, you have to engage people that are in your group. It's no fun when it's like crickets. And the other thing is, although we provide you all these assets and you can just use those, people still want to see you. So even if you're not great on video, take a selfie with like your product and post it and be like, hitting this early, guys. Love it. Tastes so good. That's it. Walk away. You don't have to write a dissertation on why you love it.
Right.
But people do like to see the person that they know, like, and trust. And so I used to do, I should start it up again. I used to do a post every Friday called No Filter Friday. I would take a picture of wherever I was doing whatever I was doing, and I would post it, no filter, not allowed to use filters, and just say, hey guys, doing this today, show me where you're at, post in the comments. I would get
I love that.
hundreds of people that would just
Yeah.
comment, post, comment, post, comment, post, just what they're doing. Like, people love socialization. And we don't get enough of it face to face today, but we can do it via the internet, right? Social media, and it's great. So that really gets that engagement is more than just like, I want to get my algorithms up, which it will do. And even Facebook's like, hey, get your algorithms up by commenting back on people that are commenting on your post. And I'm like, well, thanks, Zuckerberg. That's a great tip, But it's more than that to me. It's more of like, if I'm in a group with somebody, I want them to know that I'm there, that I'm going to answer and address their questions. Or if I can't, I'm going to bring that team member in, that moderator. And, I want them to feel like they're part of a community and that I actually do care if they're getting better. I mean, groups are great and assets. And we're talking about business here today, but at the heart of the practitioner is results. And I think that's important.
We have a good question from our chat here. How do you keep your clients from dropping between group programs? And do you do anything in between to ensure they come to the next one?
How do I keep my clients from dropping between? I don't. I'm a terrible marketer. That's where I get you guys to help me. That's what we're going to talk about, is how bad Tracey is at follow-up. That's the whole point of this one. I fail on, well.
That's not true. You have people coming back.
I'm super interesting on Facebook. So I think people, no, I'm just kidding. So I think between groups, what happens is people get educated. They still follow me. I have a community that I'll put people in that they can stay with education. I do a lot of classes, as you guys know. But for simplicity, going from one group to another, there should be a follow-up at the end of the group. Not that I do it, but there should be. That where I send out a thank you of like, hey guys, thanks for being in my group, right? Via email. Or I put a post in. I do put a post in to my groups that says, thanks for being here. You guys did great. Share your success stories, share your struggles. I'm not just asking like, blow up my feed with how great this group was. I want to know what they're struggling with. That's going to give me my next group idea. Because if people say like, I love this group and I maintain, but I'm really looking for this, or do you ever do groups on hormones or whatever that looks like? Guess what I'm going to do for my next group? So I do that within the group and I'll tell them, hang tight. There's going to be another group. When I do my next group, I go back to my original groups and I do post, hey guys, new group coming up, and I'll pin it. I do that in the groups because those are my active users. But when it comes to emailing, that's not going to happen, right? Not for me personally. I'm not saying that's the way you should do it. It's completely wrong. You should contact Amy and get marketing services and let her build a campaign for you. That's what I should do. But I don't. And then, obviously I could. If you guys would just
anybody watching, you probably don't have time either. Contact us. We'll do it for you.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I think I asked you guys before and we talked about this was, I'm at that point where I have so many people on my list, and you don't have to have a ton of people. Somebody yesterday was saying, we have a really small list. It's 3,000. I was like 750 on my list. I was like, it doesn't hurt me. I was like, it's
ego
an engaged
metric.
list.
Don't worry about that number. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's, I don't have a lot of people on my email list, but I have engaged people. I have people that actually want to hear what I have to say. And I don't spam them with a bunch of stuff for sales. Like when I send an email, my open rate's big because they're like, oh, she sent an email. She never does. Like something's up. Right. So I do have like a 67% open rate, and then I have a really big click-through rate, which is great. So maybe there is a tactic to that, but there should be a follow-up to your groups. And then, obviously you want to keep them somehow in your care. Now with this one, what I'd recommend is you spin them into a consult if they didn't get all the results, because this is a foundational group for long haulers. And we know that long haulers can take a long time to overcome. So I would probably build an email that says, hey guys, thanks for joining my group. I'm glad you're feeling better. But if you didn't get all the results you want, I am going to take clients, based on this foundational protocol, and then let's find out what else you need. That's how I'd probably spin it out, because it's a more I would say, specific group to a bunch of people that really probably need one-on-one help more than anything.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. One more question before we wrap up the report card. Would the group programs be appropriate for in-person groups too?
Yeah, I could. You mean like running them at a brick and mortar? Like having classes
Yeah.
each week that people would attend? Sure. That's how we used to do it, prior to the internet and all this fancy technology. People actually had to show up. And
But I think to
people,
that question, like people want engaged, like people are
Mhm,
starting to shop in store because they want to like touch and feel things again. And people
mhm.
are, showing up places because they want some human interaction. People like me
This
want to
is
go talk
true.
to another grown up.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Instead of speaking for, yeah. Well, my son to this day, he comes up to me and he's like, you know why Toys R Us went out of business? Because moms like you shop online. And I'm like, that's a lot of pressure. It's like, I don't think I took down
Yeah.
Toys R Us. You might want to blame bad corporate management, but whatever. Maybe it was me. But he hears these things. Like, it's funny how kids think. But I do
Yeah.
think that something like this would be great in-house because if you had the complementary modalities in your office, if you have the infrared saunas, you have the red light therapy, you have the ozone, like that's a great enticer. I would probably spin it a little different. I'd probably be like, join my program, get these supplements and one session free. Now you got like something that's going to really entice them to come in. And so for locals, I would run a program online and say, if you're local, and you want to join the program, we'll give you one free session. If you're virtual and you want to join the program, I might give them a free supplement, right? Same. They're about the same price these days.
Yeah.
Supplements and services are about $50. So it just depends, how you want to run it locally. But that would be a great idea if people had complementary modalities in there that would assist with whatever program. So think about it that way when you're designing your program.
Yeah.
If you have an ion foot bath, you have a sauna, you have a light, you have ozone, you have a hyperbaric chamber, think about how you're going to design that program and what are your complementary modality offers that you could give. And then you could spin them into a package, a consult and a package for infrared saunas. So I used to do $99 a month unlimited for my sauna. They would come in and anytime they wanted, they just had to call. So that was a
That
good,
sounds
that was a
great. I
good
would do
promotion.
that right now.
Yeah. So it works. I mean, not everybody thinks they're going to come, but they don't. It's kind of like, March from January memberships. Yeah. With gyms.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's jump up again. We don't have to go through all these to your point. There's some more questions around engagement, points for if you
Mhm.
ask questions, if you responded to comments. Let's see, we've got a few more here under program prep.
Okay, this is where the program prep, y'all, this is where I notice that people slack off, practitioners in general that are participating in the program, because I know how many people signed up and I know how many people showed up. So did you feel prepared? Did you attend the office hours? Did you schedule your graphics? Did you create a group? Did you understand the protocol? So if you take did you feel prepared? Did you understand the protocol? Did you come to the trainings? Those three could be grouped together, right? If you came to the trainings, you would have learned about the protocol, understood all the offerings, all of that. So those three you would have got 3 points on. But if you didn't, you probably felt a little bit confused because there's a lot of moving parts of implementation of a program, let alone design, structuring, and implementation. We gave you this implementation part, but in order to do it successfully, you had to show up at the trainings. Now, if you did the programs before and you had shown up, that's awesome. But I will tell you, people that showed up to the trainings probably have a higher report card rate, right? And then I don't remember the other questions. What were the other questions? Pop that back up. Did you schedule your graphics? That's a big one. So for me, I am the queen of procrastination. And I always say it's like when my ADHD brain calms down. And it's when I have to focus that I can like write a PowerPoint at the end. And Courtney's probably over there right now laughing because even with this program, I busted out all the content, all the videos, everything on a Saturday and put them into a Google Drive because I had to. It's how I operate. It's unfortunate that she has to work with me. But it's just, meanwhile, she has like a Monday list and check marks. And yeah, she is. I knew she'd say something. But, I feel for her. And I had to apologize to her because I was like, I'm sorry. I know It's me. I get it. But the scheduling
At least you
thing
have
is
awareness. You get points
do.
for awareness.
I get 1 point for awareness, and then I'm going to spend that on therapy probably. But to the point of scheduling those posts, that for someone like me is a great feature. That is probably the only thing I'd ever say thank you to Facebook for. And I'd probably say it for my Facebook jail cell. But I love it because you can sit for 1 hour on a weekend or even during the weekday. You have a down hour, your client canceled, whatever that looks like. And you can schedule all of your assets for the whole month and not worry about it and just be out, right? And then all of a sudden, day one, there's one like, hey guys, welcome to the group, right? And it's just going by itself. And it's great because then you can schedule your clients and be with your kids and go to the baseball and all the things. And your group is running. And all I did was every day was I would go in there once in the morning, once in the evening, and I'll check comments and notifications. And it was super easy. I was on Facebook anyway. I knew I was going to be there. So it took me 10 minutes to go through my group and answer any questions. And it was super smooth. So schedule. And if you didn't, use that feature. Marketing.
Good point. Anything here? There's a couple points on marketing before we wrap up.
Well, I mean, this is where someone with your expertise would come in with things like matching graphics with post content correctly. Finding the graphics, we'll probably come up with a little bit better way for next time to have the graphic match the content in one folder rather than like a content sheet. And then I put like what graphic it goes to. It can get a little bit confusing. Directing people to the right place in your store. That's basically posting the correct URL. 1 to 3 social media posts. This is just keeping you in front of people, when you were trying to advertise your group. And guys, it's a direct correlation of how many people showed up in your group, right? Your email list. I did not do that one because I got to a limit of how many emails I could send. I was too cheap to upgrade. I was like, do I want to upgrade? Do I not? And then by the time I was done deciding, it was too late. So, and then did you create Facebook ads? Did you create Reels? So those last two are kind of specializations, right? And if you don't know how to do Facebook ads, that's where someone like Amy on our team can help you. And then not everybody's great at Reels, right? And Reels aren't easy. Like, it's not like you can just be like, hi, I'm Tracey, la, la, la. You could do that and post it, but there's graphic overlay, there's text overlay, there's music, there's lighting, and then you got to put a description. Like, it's not like Reels are like, this is so easy, right? It's not like a go live video, but you could do that. Right. But if you did use those things, you can give yourself a couple bonus points and make up for other places that you lacked. So just to summarize the card, go to the happy, sad face. So, I always talk to doctors like how sick or how ill is your effort, your program effort. And so if you look at this scale, 0 to 7, 7 or below, your program is sick and you need to start utilizing your program resources, coming to the office hours, using our marketing services to promote. I will tell you guys, for a very small investment, you will triple or quadruple your sales in a month. Zero doubt in my mind, because you're just engaging people and talking to them. If you're in the middle, 7 to 14, you do need some improvement. That's where I would tell you, like, go through where you lack. Like, look at your report card honestly and think about where you need assistance. And then if you did 14 through 23 points, you did pretty good. If you want to improve, we're here to help you. If you feel that, you did great, that's awesome too. So Amy, I'm going to ask you a question. Like, what marketing services could you provide that would give people, a healthier program score?
I think there's a couple things. The first ones that come to mind are the ones that you're not doing. So like some email campaigns, segmenting.
Don't follow Tracey.
Especially repeat, growing those repeat customers, really like segmenting and focusing on,
it could be such a big account.
Previous group. And like the post-program follow-up. I think that's a really big opportunity. It kind of speaks to a question we got in that chat too. Like, how do you, avoiding the drop off between programs, keeping that conversation going. So, so I think there's also just campaigns you can do. I think for people that, aren't maybe experienced with scheduling posts, they could see like how 1 to 3 posts, scheduled a week in Facebook might seem overwhelming. We can also come in and post for you. Again, it's just like a time thing. You can come in, create an email campaign, send it for you. So it's just really those like conversational piece. I mean, we can certainly help when you start getting into some paid advertising, but I would say at least like start with the basics and talk on social and your email platforms.
Yeah, all good.
And if you want to talk about it, you can email us at marketing@gethealthy.store and we can talk to you more about it and the offering that we have. And we can help you go through this report card and really, kind of, I hate the word audit because it makes me think of taxes, but, help optimize your program for the next time you're going to do it is really what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So the link is actually right there in the chat to get your report card. So if you guys want to grab it, it's really cool just to go through and, programs are great. People love them. I have a lot of fun with them because I can hit a lot of people at one time. And if you do them well,
right,
they're really beneficial to people and beneficial to the practitioner because it frees up more time and you can also help more people. So that's why I love them. So thanks,
awesome.
Amy.
Well, thank you for talking about programs. You've been on a bunch this month, so that's a bunch of your time. So thank you for being here, Tracey, and sharing your experience with it. It's one thing to like watch a training or hear about it, but to hear someone's firsthand knowledge who's like actually executing it, I think that is, primo knowledge. So thank you very much. Again, if anybody has any questions, you can find us at gethealthy.store/contact or this marketing@gethealthy.store email address. And then please come back next week. We're going to talk about post-program store metrics for wellness practitioners with our CEO and founder, John Armstrong. So you're kind of like,
Teddy.
once you've done it, I know where Teddy has not made an appearance on any of these graphics.
He was on my slide deck
when we were 5 months in.
I know. We were on the when we were at the event last week. I put him in the PowerPoint. I was like, "This is Teddy, our mascot." So he needs a little Get Healthy sweater.
He does.
He does.
Yeah, like a little, or like a bandana. By the way, Teddy is John's dog, in case you're wondering who we're talking about. But yes. All right. Well,
awesome.
Thanks everyone for being here and for watching. And we hope you have a nice long weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Bye.
See ya.